Hello, hello, hello.
Howdy, Paul.
Hey, Lucifer. Terrible show.
We're back at it.
Right?
Yeah, good. How's everybody?
Yeah, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all.
Yeah.
I'm just stretching my back. It's killing me.
I'd have come round and give that going over for you, mate. Should have let me know earlier.
The old elbow in between the shoulder blades.
No, my platforms from the 70s.
Oh, right. I went to see Kiss at the weekend, talking about platforms for the 70s.
Yes.
So that's my fifth Kiss show I've been to.
And how was it?
Brilliant. End of the tour show they've been doing. This is a farewell tour which they've been doing since 2019. Because my nephew was with me, he went to see them in the last farewell tour. So that was great, yeah. And I think you know the band that was supporting them, don't you, Lucifer? Was this
Skindred.
Skindred.
Yeah. When I used to be in my band, I was in a band called Abuse. And we supported them like several times. They came down here and played and stuff. And yeah, it was fucking awesome. I have to find some of the old photos and flyers and stuff.
Cool. Yeah, no, they were really good because it's always hard to basically start for Kiss, but yeah, they did a really good job.
Yeah, I bet they did. They know how to hype the crowd.
Yeah, and insult them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just gonna get some going. That was good. And we have Pete. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Evening. Evening. I hope you've got your pentagram drawn on the floorboards tonight, Pete, just in case, because we're tackling the devil.
Yeah, get the salt around the doorways.
Yeah.
Then the herby things that my missus uses.
Got my special satanic candle here just to fend
off.
Yeah. So
that frightened me a bit there. I don't know if it was that or him talking about that band he was in called Foreskin or where it was.
Oh, so many jokes now come to mind.
It's been a while. We've been saving them up, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
It has been a while. Yeah. We got good. Hang on, that's candle's good, mate. Don't know. So yeah, the devil. I'll bring up my trusty fair friend, the PDF. It's here for when we need it to help us and kind of gee us on. I was going to put the Bible in here because I guess the Bible's kind of a bit of a big book. It's probably the main book to do with the devil, but I'm guessing that none of us have read all the way through. Am I right?
I have.
You have.
I have read all the way through twice because I came from a very devout Christian family, believe it or not.
I've read a lot of it, but I keep jumping in different bits. Yeah. But yeah, so it plays a big part in a lot of kind of like the fiction and horror movies and so on that are made about the devil, as we'll no doubt talk about it. But yeah, so when did you become aware of the devil or Satan, guys?
That's a really good question.
And that it made an impression in your head, sort of like either a piece of art or, you know, or a preacher, you know, or whatever.
Well, I think it was that time that strange man with the backwards flat cap came into my bedroom late one night, and he leaned in my ear and said, "Brace yourself, I'm going in dry." I think that's the first time.
Yeah, that'll be old Nick.
Yeah. It was back when we were in Weymouth. No, seriously, I can't even think that far back. I think it was definitely sometime after the Napoleonic War. I know that much.
Yeah, well,
I couldn't pinpoint it.
Growing up in the 70s, like Pete points out here, that they were everywhere. I just remember there was on the news, documentaries, they were everywhere. But yeah, so I know mine was at school, and it was this chap here, which all Scottish school children have to read Tam O'Shanter at school. And I think that's probably the first exposure to the devil as a kind of character in folklore or whatever, you know. So you've got old Nick sitting playing his pipes, well, Kakazark and the rest of them are all dancing about like crazy people. So I've included this here. Do you all know the poem of Tam O'Shanter?
No, I can't say I do.
Oh, right. You've got to read it. It's basically a drunk guy that the last person at the pub gets on his horse and he's riding home, and he sees these people all kind of like reveling and enjoying themselves as old Nick sits playing for them. And he gets excited by the whole thing. He shouts out, and then they start to chase him when they see him. And that's pretty much it. He gets away, but they pull the tail off his horse.
Right.
It's an epic sort of like a fun poem by Robert Burns, which is worth checking out. There's also nice animations based on it as well, so worth checking out.
Cool.
Yeah. I always assume people have read it, but it's a very kind of Scottish thing. You know, everyone else is forced to read Shakespeare and all that stuff. But yeah, I think that was pretty much, as a kid anyway, it was kind of like a safe kind of like idea of what the devil was. It was just it was like a side player in the whole thing. Other than that, it was just seeing movie posters in the newspaper for all these movies that were in the 70s. Every other movie, they seemed to have a pentagram or something. It was Satan. Either that or window cleaners or taxi drivers. That seemed to be the only movies that they made in the 70s when you were a kid. You know, at least those are the ones you couldn't go and see.
That's a quality illustrations on that. It was really good.
It is. I can't.
Yeah. Old etchings are really, really nice.
It is. It's. I can't even remember the name of the artist, but it's a very famous illustrator that illustrated Tam O'Shanter, and it's. I can't remember. I should have prepared for this.
Was his name Williams?
Oh yeah. It says
like it says down the bottom.
Yep, that's exactly it. It's Williams.
I could have really made that. I could have made that. I knew everything about that then.
Yeah. You should have just blagged it. I'd have been so impressed.
1790.
But it is. It's good looking stuff. But yeah, good old Dennis Wheatley. We had some Dennis Wheatley books in the house, and I read The Satanist when I was, I don't know, 8 or 9. I don't know, I can't remember. It was hard going. I had no idea what I was reading. It didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I ploughed through regardless. Far too young to be even trying to read it. Treasure Island was a lot easier to get through. But did anybody ever read any Dennis Wheatley books?
No, I can't say I have.
No, I didn't watch the films. I'm not good at reading books. I can't. My concentration. I can't do it. Like paperbacks and stuff like that. I've read very few.
Because he was huge at the time. You know, these paperbacks, and it was the hardcovers that we had. and they didn't have the gatefold sleeve, so they just, you know, I think they're library books.
Oh yeah.
But
I remember the film. The film was good. Devil Rides Out. Was that with Christopher Lee?
It was indeed.
Yeah. I remember the bit at the end when they've got the pentagram and all the windows are blowing in the old Gothic mansion. That was quality. That was good.
Yeah, because Hammer made that, and then later on they made To the Devil Our Daughter. So that was our two kind of Dennis Wheatley movies. And probably at the time, well, The Devil Rides Out is probably the most famous Dennis Wheatley adaptation, and the best also, I think.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Christopher Lee and Charles Gray, can you? Two Bond villains in the one movie.
That's just too much awesome to handle.
Blofeld and Scaramanga. I know. What can you do? And then The Disturbing To the Devil a Daughter, which is actually quite good, but kind of underrated, but not a classic, but I quite enjoy it. So this probably, again, The Devil Rides Out is probably the first kind of like Satanist type movie that I saw on the telly.
Yeah.
In the late night double bills. Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah. It's hard to see how he was a bestseller, isn't it? But yeah.
They were all like that, weren't they? They were all a bit risque, all over.
They were back then. Sort of like
I remember getting them out of the library and you think, oh, yeah, this is better than a Freeman's catalogue.
Right. So, do you have any thoughts on? Well, Nick, you like The Devil Rides Out and the whole thing with the pentagram at the end. Any thoughts on Hammer's? Because Hammer didn't really do a lot of Satanism.
I'm trying to think of some they did. I'm sure they did a couple, didn't they?
I mean, they did the witches as well, but that was more to do with voodoo, sort of like voodoo type stuff in that. So strangely, they didn't really, touch a lot to do with Satanism.
Strange, isn't it? Really, it was more like sort of like legends of like the werewolves and the vampires. And
that was it. Legends and.
That's what sold, I suppose, at the time, wasn't it? I mean, when they hit Dracula, they hit the nail on the head, didn't they? It was a bit like the X-Men. They bought out about 20 of them, or Fast and Furious.
God,
so kept raking it in.
I did want to just because I'm going all over the place with a slideshow, as best you guys can take it wherever you want. But I did want to mention comics because, funnily enough, we all make comics here. I adored Ghost Rider and Son of Satan and all these kind of Marvel horror heroes that were all tied into the devil. You do with selling your soul and Satan and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely loved them. And also included Lucifer here, which I'm not a big fan of the Neil Gaiman Sandman stuff for that. But I figured, Lucifer might be. And included that as well. But my kind of jam back then as a kid, other than Tomb of Dracula, was Ghost Rider. The idea that, and Son of Satan as well. The idea that there was a son of Satan who was like fighting against his father. It was all this epic Shakespearean biblical kind of like things that Marvel did in their comics before they got scared of the religious right and retconned everything. But yeah, did comics play a big part in any way with the way that you formed your ideas of what the devil was, or?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they definitely did. I read Ghost Rider a lot as a kid. I mean, I was always jumping between like Spider-Man and Superman and Batman, but Ghost Rider always found a way in there. Son of Satan wasn't one that I read, but obviously like later on, I then checked out stuff like Neil Gaiman's stuff with Lucifer, and how can I forget Preacher? Because the devil does play a role in that as well, and that is still one of my favorite comic books of all time. And that, for me, seeing Satan in that book showed me like, you can mess around with how the devil looks, just a little bit, not too much, but you can put your own unique spin on how the devil looks. Because when I saw him in Preacher, I was like, that is not what I expected. You know. And of course, we're Hellboy as well. The Hellboy books, loved reading them when, oh God, I must have started reading them when I was about 18, 19. And that was fantastic as well. So yeah, they definitely, for me, they definitely shaped a bit of how I saw the devil.
Excellent. Cool. Does that affect you at all when you were writing Ed Gein as well? When you're
not consciously. I guess subconsciously it kind of did. But I mean, when I first came up with like Ed Gein Demon Hunter, I didn't really think that the devil was going to show up in it. I thought he was going to be more someone in the background. Then I realized, no, he kind of needs to be there, you know. And he only has like those couple of scenes, but yet he plays such a big role in the overall story, you know. And that's one thing I like about Devil, because I think all the media that I've ever really like enjoyed the most that featured the devil was someone who was in the background. And if you did see them, it was very rare. Most of the time you didn't see them, you just saw their influence. And that was something that I really liked, this demonic puppet master in the background.
quite seductive. Yeah. Of course, the Devil Worshipping Hellfire Club. Aha, right. Yeah. So, there were devil worshippers outside of those two movies. Yeah.
That's where they must have got it from for the Stranger Things. And
yeah, so it's pretty much Marvel Comics been reprinted in the UK. I've got a lot of answer for. So there's one movie that I think defines the whole kind of like satanic subgenre of horror that came out in the 70s, and it's a movie in the late 60s, and it's this one, which is of course based on a book. Thoughts on Rosemary's Baby? Lucifer, do you want to start?
I would like to start by saying this is an absolute classic that I still, to this day, have not seen yet, and I feel very ashamed, except for the clip of the bit of the, what have you done to his eyes? You know, that bit I've seen. But no, I really should have done my homework before this show and actually watched it, but I didn't because I suck.
That's okay. I haven't watched it in about 20 years anyway.
I think we should do a fundraiser to get Lucifer a telly.
At least to upgrade his VHS.
No. That's blasphemy.
Blasphemy. Yeah. Yeah.
It is a classic film, isn't it?
It is.
And it's quite chilling. It's not. I suppose it's more like a thriller horror, isn't it? Really, as well. It's like
it's more. It's more about the sense of unease than anything else. It's just like it's really good at making the viewer feel as if they're in a strange place watching it, much like the character is. It's like everything's normal but not normal around her, and very influential. But they are seminal movies. We can get to them in a wee bit. Definitely Race with the Devil, which I saw every time it was repeated on the BBC. Like I haven't seen this movie for years because there's kind of like just sometimes you can go off a director. I kind of went off Roman Polanski for obvious reasons when I started reading more about him. But I just, as a film, I probably think I will, revisit at some point.
I'm surprised they remade it. They seem to remake everything now, don't they?
Shh, they're listening. They're going to hear you say that, Nick, and then they're going to be like, now that's nice. Hold on, didn't they try to make a TV show out of this?
Did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that a few years back, they tried to make a TV show out of this. I might be thinking of something completely different, so take it with a pinch of salt, but it is worth Googling.
Right, okay. I'll Google it. The tension. Rosemary's Baby TV show.
Oh my god, we've lost Nick.
Oh.
I've mentioned that they may have made a TV show of it, and he's gone. That's it.
Be
Nick,
gone,
come
Satan. Be gone. Be gone. Cast thee out, Satan. Right, he'll be back in a minute. We'll be fine. Well, they made a 2-part mini-series.
Oh, okay.
Right. I could see that working because there's probably lots of stuff in the book and that they could do.
And wasn't there a sequel to this as well called? It was either What Have They Done to Rosemary's Baby or Look What They've Done to Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby Strikes Again. But there was
Revenge of Rosemary's Baby.
I think there was a sequel book which was universally derided.
Yeah. Oh,
Thought the devil got you, Nick.
Yeah, sorry about it. I'm having a lot of problems here with the internet. I don't know why. Something's going on.
It's all right. I've just got a lot of problems in general, but my therapist promises me that I'm making great progress. So
you got a lot of problems. You haven't even got a telly. That's why he invited me down to dinner. He's got a cardboard box hole cut out, and he wants me to sit there and read the news for it.
Yeah, damn fucking straight.
Look what's happened to Rosemary's Baby.
There we go.
Directed by the classic director Sam Osteen. He's a film editor. He's done a lot of stuff. We've done a lot of good stuff. Right, okay. Yeah, well, Rosemary's Baby. So it's been years since any of us saw it, but it's really good. And when Lucifer does actually watch it, we can do a show where we talk about Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Do a watch along on Rumble. Boom. Before you could, say Rosemary's Baby, there were devil movies everywhere as soon as it came out. And I've just plucked a few here. Yeah. Race with the Devil and The Devil's Reign are on there. And these were on late night on ITV. ITV showed Devil's Reign most of the time. Race with the Devil was on the double bills that the BBC did. And it was one of these things that, oh, good, Race with the Devil's back on again. I need to watch that because there's nothing better than watching Peter Fonda and Warren Oates having a holiday in a motorhome with their motorbikes getting chased by Satanists. There's a high concept movie for you. Why haven't they remade this? I don't know. But it shows you how varied these movies could be. I have to admit, I have not seen Satan's Cheerleaders.
No, I've not seen that. Yeah.
No, neither have I, but it sounds like my kind of movie.
Yeah. All right, enough. I never thought about that. We need to test Nick later on.
Just shave the arms down, Pete.
Yeah. I included Blood and Satan's Claw in here, but as you know, there's so many different subgenres. Even when you start to get into Satanism and all this kind of stuff. The Mark of the Devil, we never talked about that either.
No, we didn't, did we?
We probably should have done. Maybe get on to Mark of the Devil and Movies of His Ilk later on. And I included Satan's Slave.
Guaranteed to upset your stomach.
The Brotherhood of Satan, I had no idea about. But I'm going to have to watch it now.
I've seen about 4 of them. Definitely.
And also
Satan's Claw. I've definitely seen that. That used to be on the BBC Two on the. They used to do the summer with the double bills late at night in the 70s.
Yeah.
The Devil's Reign, is that the one with William Shatner and John Travolta?
Have you just looked that up?
Yes.
You don't know that.
Oh, yeah. I do know that, I'm afraid.
Oh, cool. He's getting his... Oh, excellent. That's a cracking poster as well. I put that one in there just for you, Pete. Ernest Borgnine as well. Yeah, that's a classic.
Years since I've seen it.
And it's directed by Robert Faust, who made Abominable Dr. Phibes. So, yeah, so it's a classic. It really needs to be remastered and put out there on 4K because you got the scene with them all melting and stuff. It's really brilliant. But yeah, I put these in here because half of them I haven't.
Well, that Exorcism Be Damned, that Mark of the Devil Part 2, was that not like some Hungarian or? using
Yeah,
the
it
pin.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't Mark of the. It wasn't anything to do with Mark of the Devil. It was just one
Yeah,
of these.
Yeah,
I
you
just
got
remember it being
loads of
tough.
the you got
Yeah.
loads of what they call the foreign knockoffs.
Yeah, I think it
So
was.
there
I
was
remember one that was dubbed, and it was really hard to watch. You couldn't. No, I mean, it was even worse than kung fu films in the 70s. You just could
Yeah.
not get it. It was everything was
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
There wasn't no
that's
kung fu in it. It was, they didn't kung fu the devil.
satanic kung fu torture movie. That's
You got it, mate.
yeah, but this is let's crowdfund it right now. We can start tonight. Get a crowdfund in for that one. Sorted. But yeah, I put that in there specifically because there were so many of these knockoffs that came, and they would take movies, foreign kind of horror movies, and they would reshoot stuff for them as well, and they would make them look as if they were like The Exorcist, which we'll get to, because a lot of these are before The Exorcist. But The Devil Made Me Do It. Never seen that one either, but I'm probably going to check that one out as well. I think we have some double bills of some really terrible movies here.
Yeah.
There you go. Our first backer for our movie.
Come on.
You're in it, Pete.
You're in it. Right. Pop this one in. Because again, I was surprised we hadn't talked about this the last time when we did our kind of like our pagan stuff and our folk horror stuff.
Yeah, we really should have done, but
there's that many. There's that many. Because this is not really a horror movie. It's a Ken Russell movie, which that's a genre unto itself.
Yes, isn't it just?
A director that seems to have been completely forgotten about these days. I don't really know why. He was hugely influential back then in the 70s. And this movie was, highly kind of like censored and banned all over the place. And Warner Brothers still haven't released an HD version of this for anybody to buy. They seem somewhat embarrassed by it, and they don't seem to have been allowing it to be released to any boutique labels to do their version of it either.
No.
So I'm just guessing that because I don't understand why none of them have.
And as far as I know, there's never been like a home video release or DVD release of the full uncut version. But yet there are copies of it that float about online every now and then. Yeah,
it was only the cut version. I think it was only the American version that you could get as well. So it was very cut version on DVD. I had it on video. So it's a strange one because it's the kind of movie that critics would laud as being, something you should see.
Yeah.
And yet it's treated with contempt by the rights owners. Did you guys watch this when Mark Kermode did the BBC Two thing where they had like a whole night of the devils?
Yeah, but I haven't seen it since then.
Well, no, I think I've seen it maybe once since then because I videoed that whole night, and so I think I watched it again. But I don't have that videotape anymore. Don't know what happened to it. But
it's quite a long film, isn't it?
The full cut is it's a bit longer.
It's hard going film. I remember once when Channel 4 used to, when they first started, and they used to put quite decent films on late at night on a Friday and Saturday, and it was on there. It was on Channel 4. I remember coming back from somewhere like a pub or whatever and put a telly on, and then I was watching it. But yeah, I hadn't seen it since probably like early 80s. It was on something, I can't remember, it might have been on one of the channels somewhere.
Yeah, I wish I still had it. I probably just didn't take care of it because I just imagined that they would be bringing that cut out on DVD at some point, and they never have.
No,
but yeah, there's a lot of flesh in it.
Yeah.
Hey ho, pops.
Hey, pops.
Yeah, it's a strange one because it's not a supernatural film, so it's just about how people can be, like, sort of the religious mind and how they can be, essentially just kind of like everybody in a kind of mass hysteria as they're sort of like taken over by this belief system. Ask Oliver Reed and Vanessa Redgrave. Just
I watched Dolly the other night. I watched The Curse of the Werewolf.
excellent.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good in that.
I love
It does indeed.
I love it when they close the doors in the castle and all the wall shakes. You can't get that. You can't buy that anymore.
Nah.
All the set going.
Yeah. It was a good set as well.
Yeah, it must have been about like an inch thick though. Holding it up behind, trying to stop it moving.
I've got one here. I don't know. Have you watched Lisa and the Devil?
No, can't say I have.
Or The House of Exorcism, as it was called when they released it initially in American and UK markets.
Was that not like a comedy?
It's
Was it like dark black humor?
it is kind of, yeah. It is kind of like a dark black comedy, but it's Mario Bava, so it's very strange. I would explain what it's about, but I've seen it about 5 or 6 times and I still don't really know what it's about. It's a very surreal movie, very odd. But it's
any lollipops in it?
I think there is. I think there actually is a scene where there's a lollipop. I might be getting that mixed up with another one, or maybe I don't know. That might be one of Magic Secret Servers or something. I don't know. But no, there is because there is one where he's got a lollipop, and it might be this one.
It must have given him the idea then.
But it's I don't have no idea what it's about, but it's well worth seeing because it's one of these films that if you watch it and you're aware that at the time it was trying to get people to think it was like The Exorcist or The Omen or something like that, and they must have been like, I think again it was recut and stuff was added to it, so there's 2 different cuts. There's a House of Exorcism cut, and then there's a proper Mario Bava, very surreal, almost art house, kind of like Lisa and the Devils. Cut. So I popped that in there just because I think I should be giving that a watch again. Yeah. I'm going to have to now because to see whether he's got a lollipop or not. But I popped in the Mephisto Waltz because this was another one I watched as a kid and it freaked me out. It really freaked me out. And what freaked me out was I'm pretty sure it was a Quinn Martin production. And the Quinn Martin productions were made by things like The Streets of San Francisco. So it was not what I was expecting. But it had the first time I'd ever seen a human head on a dog's body outside of Dundee. But there's something that you see in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. They do that as well. But as you can see here, it's part of this, the Mephisto Waltz. You guys ever seen this?
I only heard about it like a few weeks back. No, I only heard about it like a few weeks back, and I got a hold of a copy, but haven't had the chance to watch it yet. But it's one that when I found out about it, I was like, oh, okay, I need to see this. Right,
cool. Give it a watch because it has that kind of weird 60s, just about to go into the 70s kind of vibe about it.
Yeah.
So it's it's a good one. I just noticed just piling up. I have noticed it's out on Blu-ray now as well. You can get a Blu-ray.
Oh, is it?
That. So I'm going to get. I've got the old Midnight Movies DVD of it, so I can upgrade. So it's more of a recommendation than anything. Nice poster. Now we're talking.
Classic.
The Omen. I'm guessing you guys saw this its first TV showing like I did.
I can't remember whether it was on TV that I saw it or whether I rented it on VHS. It was one or the other. But I remember the first time I saw it, I absolutely loved it. And straight away I was like, okay, I need to see the rest of them.
Yeah, no, I think I saw it on TV. This was always considered to be the commercial devil movie. wasn't it? The sort of
very much so.
A lot of your highbrow horror fans would be a bit snooty about it.
Yeah,
but what do they know? It's an outright classic.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think of the sequels though? Because I know some people weren't too keen on the sequels.
I liked the second one a lot.
Yeah, I did too.
And I liked the idea of the third one. I liked Sam Neill, and I liked some elements in it. But other elements were just a bit too daft and not well developed. So it was almost like they were trying too much and didn't have the time or the budget to really do what they were trying. But it was, 1 was good, 2 was good, 3 was a laudable effort.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And the fourth one
doesn't exist.
Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And at least they never remade it in 2006.
Yeah.
Am I right?
If only they'd done that, it'd be terrible.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Final Conflict.
Yeah.
Where he's a businessman.
Yeah. I quite liked it when I first saw it as well, but I was disappointed at the same time.
Yeah.
I quite like Sam Neill, so you kind of get over that because he's good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good film. Good film. I love the bit with the glass.
Yeah. The Madness Network are covering The Prophecy tonight. There you go, plug for that.
Awesome.
I haven't seen that since VHS, I don't think. The Prophecy.
Is that the 79 movie or the 95 movie with Christopher Walken and Eric Stoltz?
Ah, right. Question for you there, Pops. Which one is it? If it's the one with Christopher Walken, that's set up a whole kind of...
Because that also involves the devil.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to work out what that kid's looking at in that picture.
Well, that picture, you think that's from The Omen, but it's not. That's actually a photograph that was taken when I was taken to church for the first time. And that was it. I never went back. I'm not kidding. I was like, my mother took me to church one Sunday. I'm taking you to church, she said. And then after we left, she says, I'm never taking you back to church again.
Good effort. Good effort.
Caption that now with that fella as your dad said, there's no tunnocks on your plate.
No. It's the 79 version. That's good to know. That's I can't remember anything about that now. I can see it posted in my head on the box, the video box. I need to return to that. I may just have to tune in. Yeah. My dog with a human head.
From Dundee.
From Dundee. Right. Dundee's a great place, though. I love it. Right. This was from the Daily Star. And this was after the first showing of The Omen on TV. A church in England set up a phone line for people to phone in if they were affected by watching The Omen on TV when it was shown. And people did actually phone in. And the Daily Star, which is, as you all know, is a bastion of news and reporting. Bastion, I think that's the word. They kind of reported on it, and people were like phoning into this hotline. I think hundreds of people did actually phone into the hotline, saying things like they were terrified, they had to turn the TV off, and the furniture started moving, and all this kind of stuff. But there was also, I remember there was also a report, I couldn't find it, but there was also a report about Scotland, about a graveyard and tombstones being wrecked that evening when the Omen was shown, and they linked it to the showing of the Omen. So this was before the whole video nasties hysteria, you know, but in light of the comic book hysteria previously, it almost as if the press and in this case, this church, and that they were looking for an excuse to fan the flames of the old, it's sort of like the start to the satanic panic. You can probably trace it back to this kind of stuff.
Good job, the help squad were there. The help squad.
Exactly, the help squad. But it was interesting at the time, because I can remember it all and thinking, is there such a thing as a Satanist? Are people really doing these things? You know, all that kind of stuff. And then just thinking, nah. And then went to the graveyard and played with my pals, because we always went to the graveyard and played. But that's what it was for. It was cool. So I just I found that kind of interesting, because we always have these things, don't we? We had them after Ghostwatch in the 90s as well.
Yeah, we did indeed.
Yeah,
and we had actually I found this one as well. I thought this was quite interesting. There you go.
He's just laid on a bit of fucking Lego, isn't he?
But that doesn't look like the mark of the devil. That looks like the mark of the Zodiac Killer. I think we know who the Zodiac Killer is.
It's the mark of the Zodiac
Killer. 3
Killer.
4-year-olds in a trench coat stood on each other's shoulders, like in the cartoons.
Yeah, or
he was the top one.
Or he fell asleep on his spirograph. Something.
I tell you what, I'm going camping for £1. Could you?
Don't even need to start a crowdfunder for that one, Nick. We could all chip in for you there. Camping.
I bet Peter Pat for me. He'd pay £1.
Hey, don't forget the inflation, though. Don't forget the inflation. It's going to be like at least, what, £2 and 3 handfuls of dirt now.
We'll sort that out. Me and Pete go get a Ted. We'll take your telly. We've crowdfunded it.
You can all sit around and watch the Mephisto waltz on VHS.
Get bits of Lego, see what marks we can make.
But this God, what year was that? I can't even see that. 2014. This is like years later, and then the Scottish tabloids still print ridiculous stories like this. I looked into this as well, and after they got attacked for printing this story, they said, it was just silly season, it was just a bit of fun. So there you go, silly season, a bit of fun. Boy 4 has mark of the devil. Right, The Exorcist. Now, of course, I mean, when you think about it, there is actually, in a lot of cases, it's not the devil, but it's just demons that we're talking about. And it's not the devil himself that's in these movies. But The Exorcist, everybody just assumes it's the devil. And again, it's to do with religion as much as anything, and belief. Thoughts on the devils, guys? Thoughts on The Exorcist, guys, not the devils.
Love The Exorcist. Absolutely adore it. I remember when I first got a pirated copy of it back when I was 16 years old, because it hadn't been released on VHS or anything at that time. And I smoked a lot of a substance that I probably shouldn't have before watching it. And it was a wonderful, wonderful time. I actually saw Exorcist 3 before I saw Exorcist. And
that's a Stato move, that is. That's what
I know, does, right?
Which is the third movie first, then the fifth, then the second, then the first. Yeah.
Well, I saw that before I saw The Exorcist. And then I saw The Exorcist, and I was like, okay, I need to go back to Exorcist 3, but I want to watch Exorcist 2. I remember watching Exorcist 2 and thinking, what the fuck just happened? That is night and day in comparison. Yeah. And then I saw Exorcist 3 again, and I absolutely loved it. And still, to this day, depending on what kind of mood I'm in, one day I'll be like, The Exorcist is the best one out of the 3. And on other days, I'm like, I think Exorcist 3 tops it just that little bit. And then I went on and read the novels as well, which are absolutely amazing. Yeah, I absolutely adore this. I even love finding like the foreign knockoffs of The Exorcist, like Satan and Beyond the Door and stuff like that, because I just think they're so hilarious. They remind me of an episode of Garth Marenghi, you know.
I met
Nick,
the
what about
lady.
yourself?
Met the lady on there. Yeah, I met the lady at HorrorCon who is in that.
Oops.
Suit, in the suit.
Linda Evans.
No,
Linda Blair.
Linda
no,
Blair. No, Linda Evans. That's Dynasty.
the one who done the stunts in it. Who's actually made up.
Yeah.
Because the one who because Linda Blair was about 16, 15, but the one who done all the bits and pieces was in her 20s. I met her at HorrorCon.
Yeah.
Came over to our stand, funny enough.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, she was a nice lady. But anyway, then the pub ran out of crisps. But yeah, it's. I mean, that's just quality film, isn't it? But has anyone seen? They did a series about 5-6 years ago of The Exorcist.
With Gina Davis.
Yeah, and I thought it was really good. And then
loads of people said it was really good. And I never got to see it, and I think they did 2 seasons, and they were about to do a third one, and then it got cancelled. Yeah,
and it was all like I think it was about the run up to it was it before or after The Exorcist? I can't remember now, but
after
it was and it wasn't Gina Davis.
Davis played Regan.
Regan. Yeah, and it was good. It was really good because about a priest and all the shit hits the fan with him. He was a bit like Constantine, wasn't he?
Yeah,
in it.
And apparently, the guy who did those last 3 Halloween movies, like Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends, he's planning to do the same thing with The Exorcist. They've already started production on a new movie that's meant to be a sequel to the first Exorcist movie and the first of a trilogy.
Yeah.
Very excited to be sound. I guess so. The same pirate video you saw.
You got the new Exorcist coming out, haven't you? At the end of the year.
Yeah, it is the end of the year.
Remake of this, isn't
it?
Yeah. Remake. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it's any good or not. I've only seen a bit of a trailer, but yeah, we'll see.
So the Mark Kermode Exorcist stuff. He's obsessed by it, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Favorite
he
movie.
is indeed. And I absolutely adore this movie. I do agree with Mark Kermode to a certain extent that this is close to being a perfect movie. The version you've never seen before, or director's cut, as most people probably call it, I think just absolutely ruins it. The original theatrical cut, I think, is absolutely perfect. And this is one movie. Every time we've had a new home video format come out, this is one of the first movies that I get for that format. So when Blu-ray first came out, I waited so long, and then once this was available for pre-order, I was like, I'm all over it like a rash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't like the director's cut. It takes away some of the ambiguity.
Yeah,
the characters and normal, ordinary cinematic cut, close to perfect. Yeah,
absolutely. Same with Exorcist 3, because they had to do reshoots for the ending, because the original cut, they felt that the ending was really boring because it was just George C. Scott walking into Brad Dourif's cell and then shooting him and then walking away. And the studio was like, no, we need something more exciting. There's no exorcism in an Exorcist movie. We need to change that. And once again, I hate to agree with a studio here, but that version of the movie is so much better than the original work print or director's cut.
Yep.
Is that the one that starts where he's in Egypt or somewhere?
The original Exorcist is, yeah.
No, that's with Max von Sydow, isn't it? When he's the archaeology. But there is another Exorcist that starts where they're out in
Oh, you mean Dominion? Yeah, so after Exorcist 3, I think it was around 2004, 2005, there were it was either two different attempts to make a fourth Exorcist movie, or it was two different cuts of the same movie that
Yeah.
they released like a few months between each other. And one was called Dominion,
Yep.
and the other one I think was just called Exorcist the Prequel or something fucking stupid.
It was
like that.
it was what's his name? Paul Schrader, wasn't it? Who directed it, and then they disliked what he was doing, so they, of course, bring in Rennie Harlan.
Yeah.
So you have these two wildly different cuts of the movie.
Hmm.
I try to forget that they're there. There's an interesting
I tried to
thing,
as
but I
well.
just tried to forget that they're there.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. It's normally my fault.
As Pete saying, they'll never capture that 70s feeling and all that satanic panic.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I don't know if I totally agree, because I've got a slide here. I'm going to jump ahead to the House of the Devil. I'm guessing.
I don't think I've seen that.
Guys, I was going to say that. I'm guessing I'm the only person that's seen the House of the Devil.
You are. I actually have it on VHS. There was a limited edition VHS that they did when it first came out, and I remember like everyone was talking so highly about this movie because at that time, this is when YouTube was still like quite a fresh thing. There was like a thriving like movie collector community on YouTube, and I was a part of it. So like, you know, you kept doing like new videos where it's like, oh, check out this edition that I got of like I Spit on Your Grave and things like that. And this was a movie that everyone in that community was like, oh my god, you got to see it. So I got the limited edition VHS, which I still got somewhere, and I've never fucking watched it.
What year was that made then?
I want to say 2008.
Round about there, about 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I might have seen it. What happens in
it? Not a lot.
Oh.
It's a very slow burn kind of movie. It's from what I can remember, it's she's thinks she's going to go and babysit for somebody, but they're actually wanting to look after her mother for the night. And the guy keeps. It's Tom Noonan who played the Tooth Fairy in Manhunter. It was a Tooth Fairy in Manhunter, wasn't it? I always get my serial killers and his things mixed up.
Hold on, is it where the mother's upstairs and she's like, I think she's got dementia,
and
she's looking after her, but then all this shit happens in the house.
Yeah. But, and our pal goes with her, then she goes away and she's angry. She drives off in her car and she leaves her there. And it's very much like a 1970s, almost like a 1970s TV movie in the way that it's put together in some ways. Not for.
I might not have got to the end though, Wullie. I might have turned it off halfway through, go and make a cup of tea or something, and just.
Yeah, you might do. You kind of have to stick with it because it's paced like a 1970s. Movie that's very slow. But if you like that kind of stuff, then for the atmosphere and everything, and extremely low budget kind of movie, it's definitely worth watching. I'd recommend it, as would Pete. Even in retrospect, if you watch Ty West's most recent movies, if you see X or Peril of that, you go back to this as well. It's kind of you can see his development as a filmmaker. I think the VHS will help it a lot because that's one thing missing from it. It still looks kind of like a modern movie trying to be like an old movie.
Yeah.
But on VHS, it'll look like an old movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saying that, I watched X, and have you seen X?
No.
And it's like the first half of it is like they're making this porn movie, art house porn movie. You really get caught with all the characters and their interactions and everything that you're almost sad that it's becoming a horror movie for the second half because you're kind of invested in. I quite like these characters, never know they're all going to get killed. Which, of course, is the point, because most horror movies you don't get invested in liking the characters, and you want to see them killed.
Doesn't X have a prequel that came out afterwards called Pearl?
Yes, I've started to watch that
because I've heard Pearl is amazing.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. And he's making a third one called, I think it's Maxine. Pete will know in the chat. He's a big Pearl kind of fan. But Maxine with 3 X's, triple X, Maxine.
Right.
Cool.
I'll have to give them a go because I haven't.
Hey, Cap.
Hey, Cap.
I haven't seen them ones. I've seen them on there because I think one of them they might be on Netflix or Prime or something. But
X is on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's a disturbing movie, like a body horror movie as well. It's weird.
Cool.
All this kind of hybrid of different kind of things. Well worth another watch. It kind of stays with you afterwards. But yeah, I'd recommend this if you can get through the first half of it without going to make a cup of tea.
Well, I like slow burn movies, so I'm cool with that. Cool.
I don't. I just fall asleep.
Right. Watch Exo. You'll like X. So I put these in here too because I think we have a fan for Angel Heart. I don't know about Devil's Advocate though.
Haven't seen Devil's Advocate, so I can't say a thing about that. But Angel Heart, I saw, and I absolutely loved it. But I love old film noir movies from like the 40s and 50s as well. And of course, this had a very strong film noir tone to it, and just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, Nick, any thoughts on De Niro and Pacino's attempts at? These are spoilers for people, especially for De Niro.
Yeah. I almost said the spoiler, but
dude, it was obvious for the first minute he opens his mouth.
Oh yeah. It is very obvious. So but obvious. Just in case anyone's watching and they haven't seen it, I'm not saying a damn thing.
Yeah,
I've seen Angel Heart. I can't remember it. Devil's Advocate. I thought that was quite a good film. That's with the stockbrokers, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was quite good as well. I guess a bad rap. I remember watching it and finding it witty and enjoyable.
And he obviously likes pickled eggs as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So we know that the devil eats pickled eggs.
Yeah.
Where's my pickled eggs?
Yeah. It kind of figures though, doesn't it? Pickled eggs, devil. Yeah. But yeah, I was never. I'll be honest. I've only seen Angel Heart in the cinema, and I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know. I think I was going through I was being very cynical at that time. When I'm going to see movies, I think you can go through a phase where you can like, that's crap.
Yeah.
I think I was at that, so it's ready for reappraisal. I think we have to watch it again. But this kind of shows you that in recent decades, the Devil's been big budget, big actor type draws, as opposed to all the trash that we're looking at in the 70s, or the gorgeous, wonderful Satan cheerleader stuff.
You haven't had on the who's the other one, the big actor who was the devil in what's the film with Arnie in it?
Oh, End of Days.
Yeah,
and it was Gabriel Byrne who played the devil in that one.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, aye, Louis Cypher. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, almost as bad as Count Alucard. So what have I got here? Did I put anything else in here? So we had a look at the. Who's the devil? I'm jumping about my slides now. Music. The devil in music. Right. That's a self.
I don't know any of these bands. I'm too young.
Oh, you got to know Iron Maiden. You got to know Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
The man in black himself.
So I think probably Iron Maiden's got to be. I mean, the album is Number of the Beast.
Yeah.
For as far as like satanic heavy metal tracks go, that is the one, isn't it? That is the one. That's the number. It can't be beaten.
Right backwards.
Yeah, I've got the picture disc vinyl for that one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's nice. Doesn't play very well, but it's nice. Sounds awful. Shout at the Devil, Johnny Cash, Mean as Hell, sort of like Devil's often mentioned in country songs, you know, that kind of thing. And the biggie, of course, is Sympathy for the Devil.
Yep.
The Rolling Stones song. Has anybody seen that movie, the Goddard movie?
No, can't say I
watched it when I was probably far too young to be watching it, and it's a typical kind of like surreal postmodern John Lee Goddard type movie.
Right.
And it's got lots of footage of things intercut with them in the studio doing a recording the song Sympathy for the Devil, which they never play through all the way through for the whole movie. It's almost like a tease kind of thing, but it's an avant-garde French film director, so of course he's not going to have them sit there and play the song. People would enjoy that, for God's sake, and you're not going to do that. So,
didn't Guns N' Roses cover Sympathy for the Devil for Interview with the Vampire?
Oh,
back in '94.
Did they? They might have done.
I'm pretty certain they did. Once again, I could be wrong.
Google it.
He's looking it up.
You spell sympathy. Google sorted it. It did indeed.
There you go.
Again, that's a movie I haven't seen since I saw it in the cinema at the time when it came out.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since it first came out on VHS. It's been that long. But yeah, the Devil's played a big role in music, really, hasn't he? And still does to this day. I mean, with I'm sure you don't get too many folk or country artists doing stuff with it now, but with stuff like the Southern Gothic and murder folk stuff that's out there now, you got bands like Amigo the Devil and Harley Poe, who did a great album called I think it was Satan, Sex, and No Regrets, and it's fucking amazing album. And then you've got you've still got like new bands turning up that are fairly much, they consider themselves to be satanic bands, like Ghost, who they can't remember the name of this album that they did, but they did one that was fucking absolutely killer. And there's actually a subgenre of music out there, I shit you not, it's called satanic doo-wop.
Doo-wop Devils?
Yep.
Sounds worth listening to.
You need to look it up, because you can't imagine what it sounds like, and then you hear it and you're like, that is so far from what anyone could imagine it to sound like.
Ooh. Is it with Michael Bublé?
Oh no, I don't think he's got the balls to do that kind of thing.
That's just satanic music. Hey peeps, damn it, no notification. That's the devil.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you ever seen a film called Crossroads?
Oh, with the kid from Karate Kid and Stevie Vai.
Yeah. Where he goes down. I quite enjoyed that, actually. He goes to the has to take on the devil, don't he?
Yeah. I should have included that here.
Yeah, in the guitar duel, and Stevie Vai has to like play one of his signature pieces and pretend to play it badly, which he just can't do.
Yeah. So, and everything's speeded up at 4 times the pace.
Right there, he's pointing out that the Motorhead cover for Sympathy for the Devil is really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, hey, Anish. To that. It's the way Anish is how you pronounce it. I knew got it wrong there, Anish. The best of all, though, is of course.
Oh,
course.
What an absolute cracker that is. I'm going to listen to that now. You've just...
It is. And I'm going to do all the moves as well that he does in the Cliff Richard show.
You're going to sit here and watch her.
Yep, damn straight.
And that'll get the fund up for Lucy's telly.
Oh dear. So anyway, that's a lot of devil. But what about St. John Smythe?
Oh, I've been looking forward to this bit.
Because
what's this then?
I've never seen this film, Lucifer.
Brilliant. So I found out about this a little while ago. Because I didn't know anything about this, and I was actually at a convention as a guest back in 2013 in Dortmund, Germany, and one of the guests with me was Rowdy Roddy Piper, who appears in this movie. So I think we're looking at around 2003 The director decides to make this movie, Sin Jin Smith, which is about these two police officers who have to, like, in the middle of a storm, I think it's like close to Halloween, they have to go to this small town where there's hardly any people. They have to go to the jail, and in that jail there is only one prisoner there. And the cops who are working in that jail are like, he's freaking us the fuck out. We are so glad you're here to transport him. And they don't know what his crime is whatsoever. And they don't know why people are freaked out by him. And he had no ID except a little something that said Sin Jin Smith. And Sin Jin Smith is meant to be the devil, right? Now, this director was like, okay, I want Rowdy Roddy Piper to play one of the cops or whatever. But he was determined that the person who played Sin Jin Smith, or the devil, had to be a heavy metal singer. So he cast Jonathan Davis, the lead singer of Korn, dreadlocks and all, to play Sin Jin Smith. 2 days before production was meant to start, Korn had a new album coming out, and the record label got in touch with them and said, look, they've got to do a European tour, so he can't do it. So he quickly got in touch with Ozzy Osbourne, and there's a phone recording of this somewhere on the internet. I heard it not too long ago, where the director's speaking to Ozzy Osbourne going, look, can you play the devil? And Ozzy's response was, play the devil? I've been the fucking devil for 30 years. Kind of thing. So they were going to get Ozzy Osbourne to play it, but then the record label, I think they might have been on Roadrunner at the time, I'm not too sure, got back in touch and said, it's okay, we've actually pushed the date of the European tour back. We've had to delay this new album, so Jonathan Davis can still play the devil. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think it might have been Tracy Lords. I know there was a porn actress who was playing a role in this as well.
I think it was Gemma Jameson.
That's the one. So they filmed.
Somebody told me that. I don't know how I knew that.
So they made the whole film, and there was a rough cut put together that they screened to a test audience, and the test audience loved it. A trailer came out, and people were so hyped to see this movie, and then nothing. Crickets. They stopped the post-production, and the movie was never released, and nobody knows why. The director, he's done interviews since then, but people still don't know why the movie was never finished. And there's a rough cut out there somewhere, but no one's found it yet. All we have found is there's a couple of scenes of it on YouTube and the trailer.
Hmm.
And this is one of the most sought after movies in like the horror community, because people hear the story and they go, that cannot exist. That sounds crazy. But it does exist. There's evidence of it existing, and people cannot find the rough cut.
Yeah, because you mentioned it to me. You said, can we include a slide on this? No, yeah, no, I do. What is this? Is this some obscure Chinese movie or something I've never heard of? I was waiting for a 3-year epic with swords and people flying through there, and then it was even more interesting than that. This movie, so that's how I can always look at it. All the people that were in it as well. It was a very weird sort of like collection.
Yeah, it was. I mean, considering Jonathan Davis, like the only acting that he did before that is he played himself for a few seconds in Queen of the Damned, singing a song. Like he's not an actor. So why was it that this director was so hell-bent on like, okay, he's my first choice to play? I mean, I think it's an interesting casting choice, but why did the director want him to play it?
Yep. Because he's Satan. Honestly, I googled it. Brilliant, love that. So that's kind of like an epic documentary disc.
Yeah, isn't it? Just
that movie alone, just even if they don't get that movie, but if they could find the footage, that'd be great. It's kind of like they did with Bruce Lee's original Game of Death. We make a documentary around it and show us all the footage put together just to see it shot it. They could do something like that with us. That would work.
Yeah,
another crowdfunder idea for anybody out there that wants to do
it. Don't forget, we got to crowdfund Nick's camping trip. Before my telly, mate. Before my telly. Your camping trip is way more important than my telly.
He's already packed up. He's got the tent on the back, up on the roof rack. Ready to go.
But we've got like £1. We could probably make that, but then it's getting us back to 2014 to be able to use it. The £1 to
Yeah.
go on this camping trip in 2014. That's the hard part.
There's a new roundabout up the road from me. We can go in the middle of that.
I'll meet you there, mate.
This was Peep's recommendation, and I never got time to see it. That was Hellhole.
I heard someone else talk about that. It's meant to be amazing, but I haven't had a chance to see it.
No,
I've seen that. Yeah, I've not seen the film, but I've seen it on. Where have I seen it? On one of the channels somewhere. One of
right. No, it's on my to watch list, but I never get round to it this time.
It's quite new, I think.
Yeah,
it's quite a new one.
Oh, aye, right. Alistair Crowley film.
Well, you can't be a bit of Alistair, can you? He's the man, isn't he? He is the devil. The devil, so he said.
Yeah. He's okay, going back to like initial kind of like ideas of Satan, the way you saw things. I was a bit older. I remember reading an epic interview with Anton LaVey.
Oh, yeah.
From the Church of Satan.
Yep.
All Satanists should be bald guys with goatees. Because that's what he was like.
You're halfway there then, Wullie.
I know, halfway there. I know. get this it. I am. But I don't know. There already is like 2 different Church of Satan, isn't there? So I could start a third one, you know.
Yeah, why not?
Long hair and a goatee.
Oh, we're in, mate. It only costs £1 to join.
Camping for Satan.
Sorted.
You are, madam.
Firm us up. We're on our way.
Is that a pitchfork, or are you just pleased to see me?
Well, the Carry On movies just took a devilish turn, didn't they?
They never did, they? Yeah, they could have. They could have done the Rosemary's Baby. That would have Carry On Rosemary.
Just talking about Alistair Crowley. Have you ever been to the Witchcraft Museum down in Boscastle?
No.
When before it got destroyed, there was a massive flood. Do you remember that a few years ago? And all the whole cliffs came down in the flood and washed all the cars and everything away. Just in this little harbour town. But before that, went there years ago. It must have been like late 80s or something like that. But they had it was all it is a house, and you pay your money and you walk through, and they've got all these different satanic and devil worshipping ornaments and things like that. And I remember at the top of it, you go through a couple of floors, and they had the Alistair Crowley room, so they actually had his robes. But the creepy thing was they had his recordings on of him doing a mass.
Ooh.
You know, it was, I'll tell you, it was really, really, really weird. Weird. You come out of there and you're like, something's following me, like, you know. It was just a strange place. But we went there a little while ago, me and the missus, and I bought Lucifer his stinkhorn.
Oh, yeah.
That's quality, the stinkhorn. But yeah, they've changed it all because where it got destroyed, so they've made it a little bit more upmarket now. So they've still got some of the things, but they lost a lot of the real weird relics that people were donating to them, that they dug up in farmers' fields and things like that. There was some weird shit in there before.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any kind of like satanic stories of their own?
Is it dark enough yet? Is it dark enough?
Is it getting dark enough? I don't know. We do have scary.
Oh, that's quite good. You've lined this up, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, when I was a nipper, when I was a feral kid, and we used to run riot in London and just go on walkabouts, in a place called Vauxhall, there was still a lot of derelict buildings, like probably from the war, that a lot of land that hadn't been developed. and there was this place, and they called it the Cold Store, and it was a huge concrete building, and I think it was called the Cold Store. Probably, I don't know if it was cold. It was always cold when we went in there, but I think they used to put elements of pallets in there with the fruit and stuff like that when they used to use it. But it was all corrugated round, and you weren't allowed in there. It was all a health hazard. Well, that was like, that's sweets to us. We're going in there to have a little mooch round. So we used to go in there quite a lot, and we'd only ever go on this place must have had 20 floors, and they were huge. They were just like great big solid floors, and in the floors you had these rooms that went off them.
Yeah.
And it was there was all sorts of writing all over the walls. Like, I mean, we're talking, I must have been 9, even 10. And there must have been about 5 or 6 of us, and we used to go on these adventures, like to scare the shit out of each other. And we used to go in these places quite a lot. And the only things you used to get in there were the old tramps or the winos, and they used to go in there to sleep. So you'd have loads of bottles and everything else. But one particular time we went in there, and funny enough, it was in the winter, and it was getting a little bit dark in the evening. It was getting dusky. We're all like, let's go in there. We're going to go up quite a way and see if we can do it. Anyway, there was a few of us there, and as we got up further in the floors, and there was only these tiny little holes that used to let the light in. Literally, there was no electric or anything. And we went, right, we're going to go where no man's gone before. We're going right up to the top. So by the time we got up there, where there were 6 of us, there was only 3 of us left, because the others had all just got too scared. And we decided, we got to this floor, and it was different. It had all these weird littler rooms off of it, and they had no doors. They were just like concrete rooms. And we're walking along, and there was lots and lots of graffiti on the walls. And we went to this room, and in the room, and it was a slightly bigger room, was a lot of graffiti on the wall. There was a table with a tablecloth with candles and all sorts of weird shit on it, right? And that is when we realised we shouldn't really be in here, because we didn't really... it just sort of set the shits up. So we legged it out. Anyway, when years gone by, and you can have a look, there are some sort of tales on there that a lot of devil worshipping went on in there, but also there were big fucking paedophile rings that were taking place in there. And I only found this out years going forward. You know, when I was in my 20s, and I thought, I wonder what happened to the Cold Store. I'll look it up. 9 Elms Cold Store it was called. And there was weird shit that went on in there. But this altar that we saw really freaked us out, because there was blood and everything. And I kid you, I'm not lying. There was all sorts of shit down there, and it was like, we looked at it, and you see something, you just go, you're a kid. We was gone. That was it. But yeah, that we never ever went back in there because of that. That was the creepiest. You could have filmed a horror film easily in there. It was like one of those where they go around with the cameras in the old hospitals and look, like one of those places.
Yeah.
But there was nothing in there. There was no furniture. It was just concrete rooms with nothing. And then there was this altar at the top. Someone had been at, probably the old politicians over the other side of Walton, Westminster. They probably get over and done a bit. But yeah, it was that was quite creepy.
Wow.
And
so
then
Nick,
the pub run out of crisps.
wow. So you almost get grabbed by the Satanists. You could just have missed them.
It was. I remember once one of my friends getting grabbed. We thought it was a load of old coats on the floor, so we had to get through. It's over there, probably. Yeah. But we used to go like just walk over them to get along the first floors and that. And then one day it was a tramp. He was asleep under the feet. He grabbed my mate's leg. Fucking hell! It all kicked off. But yeah, we used to do stupid things when we was kids. That and walking up the Victorian drains and everything. It was just anything to scare you.
Just had a thought for a future
there you
show.
go.
I wonder if you could do a virtual seance on StreamYard.
I'm sure there's a way.
We could raise the dead or something.
You have. I'm here.
Pete's bringing us back down to earth.
If there was, we would have stuck around a little bit longer.
A little bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until that Alucard guy turns up. Jeez.
If you get a chance, have a look online and just put 9 Elms Cold Store, and you'll see there's some weird like little forums. There's little forums of it. There's not a lot about it at all. It's like one of those things that was always kept quiet. I mean, it's all gone now. It's all developed. It's where they've built the new MI6 building or MI5 or whatever's there. But which may be appropriate for what happened there. But yeah, it's an interesting place. And if you see a picture of it, if you find a picture of it, it just looks menacing. It's just horrible. You're having a look now, aren't you?
I'm going to. Yep. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going. The next thing you know, I'll be on a forum and I'll be typing about the devil. 3 days without sleeping, and I'll be running around with a knife. It'll be terrible. Just like my student days. Yeah, well, that. So, I mean, Satanists can be scary because you've got people, like you're saying, you're covering all that kind of stuff. But I want to ask: Did we really believe in the devil?
No, I personally do not believe in the devil.
I do. I mean, I believe his hand is at work in everything that happens now. All this weird shit that's going on around the world. He's won. He invented the internet and he's done it all.
I don't believe it enough.
Something's not right there.
Yeah. Interesting. So next, but we'll need to have like a deep discussion there about what is the devil. But as two of us don't believe in him, it's going to be a short discussion.
Doesn't mean we can't theorize, mate.
Doesn't mean we can't theorize.
Isn't it?
No, there's other things that I believe in, but the devil is not one of them.
To one side than it was when I first moved in. But yeah, no, I'm disappointed too, Peter, that I've not had any spooky goings on. I've been hoping for it. Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah,
that's a good point, Pete. Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't believe in one, I can't believe in the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Believe in rock and roll. That's what I believe in.
I believe in Joe Pesci.
Cup of tea, Mum.
Tell you what, I watched my cousin Vinny again.
The two youths.
That was a good wee film. I mean, it's not a classic or anything, but I'm just saying. But there's something weird going on with his eyes. About halfway through that movie, has a facelift.
Has Joe Pesci ever played the devil? And if not, why not?
But he pretty much did in Goodfellas, didn't he? He played a manifestation of the devil.
Yeah.
Cap's still with us here. Yep, you have. I mean, that's it. I mean, we can't argue he has been to the devil's house. So, who are we to know, Lucifer? At the end of the day, who are we to know?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts then on the devil, be it movies, drama, shanter, music?
No, not really. I mean, I'm sure there's loads of like movies and stuff that we haven't covered that we'll probably think about afterwards and be like, oh, why didn't we include that one?
There was a TV movie with Tom Selleck as well. Does anybody mention that one?
What, Magnum?
Yeah, no, he was in a Satan horror movie. I don't know if it was a TV movie, but I saw it on TV.
Magnum Right Out.
Yeah, there probably was an episode of Magnum with the devil on it. There was an episode of Chips with the devil, or somebody that was a rock star who something to do with the devil. I remember that vaguely in my head. The things that just come back to you. It's like the episode of Chips with the devil.
One thing that I can add is that, like the Satanic Panic that came about, oh my god, some great, really funny stuff came out of that. Like I love collecting like these weird like little instructional videos from like the 80s and 90s. And because of the Satanic Panic, many years later, I come along, I'm looking through some tapes in like a charity shop, and I found a police training video from the US where it's training the police what to look for when it comes to satanic cults and how to deal with them.
Yep.
Oh, you
And
should
it
have
is
put that
so
on.
interesting.
They took all this stuff seriously, and it's like it's just total bullshit. It's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of, if you look at the stats, there's a lot of cults in America, satanic cults.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned
So-
Angel Heart.
We did.
The Howling Man? No.
No. Haven't heard of
The
that one.
Quantum Leap. Well, I haven't seen the Quantum Leap Halloween episode since I first saw it on the telly, so I can't remember it very well. I remember Chips better.
I did watch a film a couple of years ago. I'm pretty sure it was on Netflix. It was, and I thought, oh, I don't know if this is going to be any good or not. And it turned out it was really good. And it was about this. I can't think of the name of it now, but it's like a kid's name. The film is a kid's name. And they go to this house, this like big mansion house, and nurses. He's got a problem, like I don't know, like a autistic or something like that.
Is it the house that Jack built?
Nah, that's not. It was just like one. It was like someone I know in a forum. But they take him to this house, and there's all these weird nurses and stuff, and it's all to do with the devil. They're the devil's children.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's quite good. You know, I'll have to try and remember.
Totally forgot about this. No, I've started watching.
Yeah,
I started watching soap again recently. It's still funny.
that was quality.
Yeah, that's right. Totally forgot. God, that show was mental.
Yeah.
Well, the Twilight Zone episode, The Howling Man. Right. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were a few Twilight Zone episodes where it had like the devil and stuff. I think it was like the second or third one. Was it The Greatest Pitch?
Meredith again.
A Pitch for the Angels was the one that I was thinking of. And yeah, Burgess Meredith, he played the devil as well.
Yeah.
And you still see it with some of the modern like anthology shows, like Inside Number 9. I think it was the first season, I think, one of the very end episodes where you have the little girl who goes to that weird gothic house to do the babysitting stuff. I think that was meant to be the devil. And they did another episode called The Devil of Christmas. But that was more about Krampus. Yeah. And stuff like that. But it's amazing that the devil is still a character that people can go to now in modern mediums and be like, yes, let's use the devil because that just carries so much weight. Yeah,
totally. It's a gap here. It's worth noting that the US is highly religious. Almost everything they do is rooted in Christianity, which is far worse than us. Yeah. Because you get the Salem witch trials, of course, as the basis for the Crucible.
Yep.
Which is very powerful and timeless story, I would say. People being persecuted for being perceived to be different.
Yeah.
So that's that then. That's the devil. We've done him.
We've taken him on.
Taken him on.
Well, that was a
still here.
Piss, who are we going to do
next? It was. Get behind me, Satan. There you go. A candle worked. Hi there to World Commentary who's joined us in the chat. Okay, well, I know what's next for me and Lucifer anyway, because we're concocting something.
Oh, yes.
Topical. Just leave it there. We're concocting ranking of the Doctors.
Yes.
From Doctor Who. And we're still try to work out the criteria that we're going to do the ranking. But that'll be soon. That'll be much like the show that me and Starter did, where we did the Bond movies. It'll be the same thing. We'll be half the screen. We'll be doing a countdown on our doctors, half a screen each, and until we get to our number one doctors,
which will be interesting.
Obviously, going to be Jodie Whittaker, isn't it? Yeah.
But what should the terrible trio do next?
So what should we do next?
Because I do have an idea.
Werewolves.
Okay. Werewolves.
Well, I was going to suggest, because I think this was an idea that Nick had, but I'm hoping that Nick forgets so that I can steal it.
He's already forgotten.
I don't know.
What if?
What did I just?
What if each one of us picks a really crap, bad horror movie?
Oh yeah.
Right. So there's 3 of them to watch, right? And then we have to come back, talk about them, and we have to vote which one is the best. We can't vote for our own movie that we pick. And the point of it is, the best one loses. Whoever brings the best movie to the table loses. So a little bit of a competition. Who can find the worst horror movie for us 3 to suffer through?
I'm picking Satan's Cheerleaders. No, wait a minute. I'm picking The Devil Made Me Do It. There you go. Right. So
Either that or we could do Phantasm. Because I will keep suggesting that until we do it.
That means I've got to watch it again.
All 5 of them?
Yeah, all 5 of them. 5.
Oh, fucking hell. Jesus Christ. The only bit that I liked in it was the bit with the bowl that come out. When I watched it as a kid, I thought it was the weirdest film. And that thing with the bowl with the it goes round, doesn't it? And they're in a cemetery place. I just thought that was the weirdest film. It weren't my thing. And you want me to watch 5 of the fuckers? We
want you to watch them one after the other live on a stream.
Yeah.
Kind of like with your eyes open, like Malcolm McDowell style.
That's where I'll be watching them from.
An Nymphoid Barbarian and Dinosaur with that small comics picked one.
Excellent. Excellent.
Right. So they have to be horror movies.
Yes.
That's a lot of choice.
I know, right? And it will be interesting to see who brings what to the table.
That's good. We'll meet back here in 2034.
Right, so we'll pick a really bad movie, we make the others watch it, and then we come on and we rank them, and we decide whoever's got the best of the bad movies loses.
Yes.
The
goal is you got to try and bring the worst movie. That's how you become the winner of the game, is by you bought the worst of the worst.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to make sure I get one that's about 25 minutes long. The director's cut. Lucy's going to pick one that's about 5 hours fucking long. I can see this.
Oh no, I'm not that cruel. I will pick a short one. It'll be like under an hour and a half.
I'm thinking, because I've been kind of threatening for a while. I think this could be our very first Jess Franco special by the back door.
Oh yeah.
Because no, I shouldn't have given it away, should I? Because you'll be looking at Jess Franco movies. There's Jean Roland as well. But
trust me, I've got a short list in my head already, mate.
Yeah, okay, then that's what we're doing. It's I almost had a name for this there, but it sounds very much like something that another channel does. Like it's like millions of views, so we wouldn't use that name.
And I know exactly what you're thinking of.
We'll call it something else. We'll call it. Could it possibly be worse than a Jess Franco movie? There you go.
It's called a bit shite horror.
Hit it with a shovel. The movie. That's what we'll call it.
Hit it with a shovel, the movie. That's it. We'll bring back Hit It With a Shovel. Thanks for that. That's good callback as well. Saves us a lot of crowdfunding for lawyers' fees.
I'm seriously going to pay someone to find me some old shit. Make you two watch it that you've never heard of. What lips?
That sounds like a good one. I don't...
yeah, that sounds awesome.
All right, okay, yeah. Cool. That's it then. Guys, that's it. You heard it here first. Well, second time we talked about this months ago. But, but Lucifer's completely molded it into a thing now. And
just do it and pacify him and get it out of the way.
We'll do it in pacify, and it's going to be called Hit It With a Shovel.
Yeah. It'll just keep on and on about it otherwise. I can't be doing with it. It's just...
Well, that's what you get for giving me keys to your home, mate.
I don't... Guys, I think maybe there is a devil. I'm changing my mind.
Those locks, I put new locks on. They've all been changed.
That's never stopped me before, mate.
Right, okay. Is anybody got anything else to say about Satan or anything? No. Well, well, thanks, Lucifer. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Pazuzu. Thanks, Scary Mary. And thanks to everybody in the chat. That was another fun night with the terrible trio. And we'll see you at some point with 3 of the worst movies that we can drag up from the lower depths of hell, or Jess Franco's back catalogue of classics. So cheers, everybody. Once I know exactly where to click, we'll be out of here, and we'll see you. We'll probably be here with Doctor Who first. So Doctor Who rank, we're going to get right on that. Maybe see in a week or two with that one. I wouldn't be streaming next week. It'll be the week after anyway, because I've got something organised. Yep. So take care, everybody. Thanks, guys. We are the Terrible Trio.
You have seen this incident based on sworn testimony. Can you prove that it didn't happen? Perhaps on your way home, someone will pass you in the dark, and you will never know it, for they will be from outer space. Many scientists believe that another world is watching us this moment. We once laughed at the horseless carriage, the airplane, the telephone, the electric light, vitamins, radio, and even television. And now some of us laugh at outer space. God help us.